guys, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for the delay, but today we're going to focus on, since today's Tuesday, we're going to do some strategical chess. Alright, I have to adjust this chessboard. Let's see. Alright, here we go. So this is black to play. And let's start our clock to 20 minutes. What's going on? Oops, not 2 hours, 20 minutes. Start. Alright, it's black to play. So what can we say about this position? So looks like white has nice passed B pawn, whereas because it's not yet blocked, whereas black's C pawn is blocked by white's bishop. So if I were to choose a color, which color would I play? I think I would pick white, because this is an isolated pawn. The C pawn is isolated, which means that I have a target to attack. Maybe I can double my rooks along the C file. Yeah, so it's not looking good for black, I think. So we also need to, when I solve chess puzzles, I try to write down my calculations so I can compare it to the book or the notes after I'm done solving it. Alright, the date 11/10, 20 minutes, Tuesday. All right. Okay. So what are we supposed to do here as black? We have a weakness on C5, and white has this pass pawn and B pawn that is protected by the A pawn. So we're in trouble here, unless we can get rid of our C5 pawn, or we can transfer the knight from here to there and blockade it, because the best piece for blockading is the knight. So if we can do it, then that would be awesome. Okay. Yeah, also, let's see. Maybe we can exchange the knight with knight d6. Exchange white's knight. Oh, is that good? When we exchange knights? Can also play h5 here, just to prevent white from playing g4, kicking our knight out of the f5 square. What are we supposed to do here? I would play h5 here because I want my knight to be protected. I don't want my knight to get kicked by white's pawn and white's g pawn. So I think I would play h5, then play rook h, rook h to d8. No. It's a difficult position to play as black. Another thing, is it a good idea to exchange our rooks? I mean, if the rooks are off the board, is it easier to defend my c pawn right here? or not? That's a question. Because if I'm gonna put my rooks on the D file, white might be able to exchange it. So maybe it's not a good idea to exchange rooks. I gotta do something, right? We gotta act fast or play actively, because we have a static or permanent weakness on c5, a long-term weakness. Maybe I can also after h5 I can maneuver my bishop from here to from e8 to g6. So I have like knight d4 discard attack against the knight. Maybe it's a possible idea. Yeah, I would play h5 then followed by bishop e8 to g6, but if white plays like for example rook a to c1, so h5, rook a to c1, bishop e8, bishop b3, then now my or even bishop a2. With bishop b3 then there's knight d4. With bishop a2, I don't know. I don't think I can defend the c5 pawn. Stuff. So h5, rook a to c1. Man. Maybe I can also play like rook c7, because the idea is, let's see here. Maybe rook c7. The idea is to double on the c file to defend this pawn, and at the same time I'm inviting white to push the pawn on b6. So if white pushes the b pawn, then the bishop is going to attack the a4 pawn. So maybe that's another idea. It's challenging to play this position as black. Another idea is to, after rook c7, I can maneuver my bishop from d7, c8, then b7 to attack this knight. That's another idea. We'll see. Oh man. So h5, rook ac1, rook c7, rook c3, or let's say bishop to a2, then rook h2, c8, then rook c3. Then bishop to e8. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna play. So I have to write down my moves. After rook c3, I have to play knight d6. I'm trying to exchange the powerful knight on e4. Yeah. We'll see. let's look at the solution. All right. So this is the introduction for this chapter. Quote, the purpose of this chapter is to bind together the pawn levers and piece exchanges into a smooth list of auxiliary questions, which can be used in most middle game positions. Well, that is far too simplified a way of playing chess, but I think it's a good idea to have the auxiliary questions in reserve for when intuition does not define in which direction to steer thoughts. I encountered method of asking questions for the first time in a splendid book from 2001, Jasper Hall's Chess Training for Budding Champions. The auxiliary questions I propose are simpler. There are only 6. Why is it useful to have auxiliary questions? When you play, it is easy to miss the forest because of all the trees. There are so many threats to take care of and variations to calculate that there is no time left. Hello there, Marcus for 2069. Hello. Thank you for being on the show. There are so many threats to take care of and variations to calculate that there is no time left for the big strategical questions. Grandmaster Niels Grandelius and Ulf Andersson, both from Sweden, Swedish grandmasters, help each other in the chapter's first game to show why auxiliary questions are important. When should the question be used? This is a new topic, auxiliary questions. I never heard of auxiliary questions before until when I'm reading this book, Pump Up Your Rating by Grandmaster Axel Smith. As auxiliary implies, they are used when your intuition is not, wow, you're like good at chess. Yeah. We're trying to be good at chess. All right. The second section will give some advice of how to identify those positions during the game. It is recommended to use the questions during the opponent's thinking time, when there is less need to calculate variations. So, what do they consist of? Mainly positional considerations. Some important positional themes are already been covered in the previous chapters: pawn lever, piece exchanges, and material imbalances. This chapter adds other imbalances. How should the questions be used? They are presented in a lost but used only when encountering difficulties in grasping a position. Afterwards, it will hopefully be easier to find a good plan. Is there something they should not be used for? Yes, the auxiliary questions are only there as an aid and should not compete with your intuition or feeling. Intuition or gut feeling. The first thing to do is still simply look for good moves, but they are useful if you are encountering difficulties getting a handle on a position. Alright, so this is the first game of auxiliary question chapter. Quote, with White's last move, a2 to a4, his idea is clear: to play slowly and keep it all under control, whereas Black has a very few chances to get active himself. At this point, I was mostly concerned about my c5 pawn. This is a game between Vladimir Potkin and Niels Grandelius on Bundesliga in Germany in year 2012. And here, Black played here, bishop e8. My answer was play h5 first to prevent White from playing g4. So I'm just wondering if there's something wrong with h5. I'm gonna turn on the stockfish quickly in short time. Oh, okay. Stockfish chess engine, come on. All right. Maybe I should just cancel it. My computer might not be able to handle it and it might shut down. Okay, just cancel it. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so Black played h5. Black played bishop e8 instead of h5. My move h5. But here, Black can also play knight d4 here. What is the idea of knight d4? Okay. Maybe go here? Nah. It's kind of useless to go to c2. Okay, the idea is to push f5. Oh, okay. This is Black's idea. So knight just cleared the f5 square. Oh no, okay. However, it did not help. So knight d4. My Chessbase is so slow, or it's just my computer. Just keeps on saying not responding. Okay, knight d4, rook ac1. f5. Knight d2. Yeah, this is not good. Code, I was clearly worse. Potkin just went bishop a2. Knight c4, then maybe take the a5 pawn. Yeah. It's maneuver. That's okay. And so this is what happened in the game between Vladimir Potkin and Niels Grandelius, both chess grandmasters. So improvement, bishop e8 is an improvement. Okay. So bishop e8, the idea is to kick the knight out right away. Oh no, it's not. What is the idea? Bishop e8. Maybe play bishop h5 to prevent the white rooks from going to d1. To go here. So the rooks cannot go on d1 without getting captured. Wow. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. Bishop g6, bishop a2. So knight d4. Black played knight d4, so giving up the pawn on c5. Why? So after knight takes c5, then knight c2. Knight d4. Knight takes, then what? Bishop c2. Wow. Oh, I never even considered this idea. So bishop c2, cutting off white's c file. Now black's rook is attacking the knight on c5. Okay, the tactics work in black's favor. Quote unquote. Maybe knight takes. Yeah. I think there's a knight takes pawn here. Knight takes pawn, then here, attacking the pin piece on e6. Then now, how can I defend this one? Maybe bishop f5. H3 g4. Yeah, I think bishop f5, right? Bishop takes a4. Why not just... Oh, if bishop f5, then bishop takes e6. I got it. So here... Okay. Then f5. Then my bishop on e6 will still be stuck. It's pinned. Can't move. Otherwise, the rook is gonna capture the king. So... Okay. That's why black just decided, okay, you can have my... you can have the knight back. But instead of defending it, black took the pawn on a4. Pawn on a4, come on. Okay, bishop a4. Rook takes e6, king d7. All right, let's go. Come on, Chessbase. Chessbase keeps on just freezing and freezing, not responding. Keeps on flashing. All right. No, it's my computer. It's not the Chessbase. Alright, in view of his active king, black is at least okay. All this looks pretty easy, you might say. Finding the bishop maneuver is definitely not beyond my abilities or understanding of the game. If I had been given this position after a4, just like in our starting position, as an exercise, I'm sure I would have solved it. However, that is not the point. The point is that this requires another way of thinking during games, to ask myself questions such as, which is my worst placed piece? What is the worst placed piece in our starting position? I think it's the light squared bishop on d7. That's the worst piece. Might sound trivial, but during the game there are always lines to calculate, pawns that are hanging and threats that have been taken care of. This is precisely where a player like Ulf Andersson, a Swedish grandmaster, excels, and therefore also an area where I can learn the most from him. So this is the end of Niels Grandelius' annotation. So Niels Grandelius, a Swedish grandmaster who played this position as black. All right. How do I scroll it down? Like the scroll bar is not even here anymore. Come on. Maybe I can get the book instead. Is the book here? Alright, so here, the Swedish Grandmaster Lars Carlsen once said, "It was in Russia that I learned to play chess." He was referring to some months when he traveled around in the Soviet Union. Grandmaster Niels Grandelius and I made our pilgrimage in December 2007 to the snowy city of Vladimir with temperatures at minus 20 degrees Celsius. During 7 double rounds in 10 days, Jawbreaker 950. Okay, I was watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, and I want to see people play chess. That's why you're here. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that's Queen's Gambit is a pretty. It's okay. It's okay film. It's funny. It's funny. Some of them are true. Some of them are not true. But thank you for watching the show. All right. So in Queen's Gambit, there's I think there's a scene where like Beth Harmon played. She went to Russia, Moscow, and this is one of the reason why. It was in Russia that I learned to play chess. The Swedish Grandmaster Lars Carlsen, like people went there to get better in chess. All right. So, quote, "To lose the following amazing game annoyed me at the time, but I later understood that went wrong." Okay, so they went to Russia, and they played 7 double rounds, so 2 games a day in 10 days. That's slow chess, and Grandelius followed the advice of declining all draw offers. So in order to win in chess, if you want to win, you want to decline the draw. Draw offers like, okay, tied game. It's like agreed by negotiation. You want to draw. So if you want to win in a tournament game, and if you want to become better, you decline those games. I remember this one of my games. One of my opponents, his name is Liang A Wonder. He's now I think the current United States junior champion. I think teenager, 16 years old. So I played against him twice when he was 12 years old in Chicago. I was already like 2300, almost 2400 during that time. USCF rated, and he was 2200. And I got lucky. I beat him. But we played again after a couple of years in Spice Cup. That's in St. Louis, Missouri, in United States, here in the United States. And at that time, I knew he was trying to get revenge on me. Grandmaster a Wander Liang. He's not even a grandmaster there. I don't think he's even an international master. Jawbreaker 950. Are you a pro player? Yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a pro player again. I kind of stopped semi-pro because I finished my bachelor's degree in accounting and master's degree in accounting. I work as an auditor. But right now, yes, I'm trying to become a better chess player. All right, so back to the story. I played him in St. Louis Spice Cup. So he was 14 years old. I was like, I was already old. And we're playing a Sicilian Nighter. I was playing as black. I knew he was trying to get. I didn't know his rating back then. I know he's out for blood. He's trying to beat me. He's Sicilian Neidorf. I played. He played Bishop G5. Maybe Sicilian Neidorf, Bishop to G5. Maybe the sharpest Sicilian against the Neidorf system. And okay, I was good. I was up, and I was in time trouble, but I had the advantage. I knew I can beat him, but the problem is I was in time trouble, and I was nervous. He might beat me. I know I don't want him to beat me because I already beat him before. So I offered him a draw, and I was surprised that he declined it. He declined it because after the game, it turns out that a lot of people against this 14-year-old kid who was not even a grandmaster, some masters offer him a draw, but he keeps on declining it because that's the lesson. If you want to become better in chess, if your opponent offers you a draw, you decline it and you try to play for a win. So after that, he declined. Okay, we keep on playing, right? He declined my draw. I told myself, okay, no more, this is serious. I'm gonna beat you, right? And we were in, play continued, and we were in time trouble. I don't know what's going on, and just trying not to blunder. And he offered me a draw, but he kind of okay, you declined my draw earlier. Why would I accept the draw? So I declined. So first, I offered him a draw. He declined me. Then he offered a draw after a few moves. Then I declined because I'm trying to win. Then what happened in the game is we repeated moves. We repeated moves 3 times in a row. That's repetition. In chess, if you repeat moves or position 3 times in a row, that's a draw. And the game ended in a draw. It was fine. I was kind of frustrated because I knew I can win, but I was not able to. And after the game, I realized that his rating is 100, or I think it's 2400. His rating is 100 points higher than me. So it's amazing. 2 years ago, he's 2200. And I was up by almost 100 points, but after 2 years, it's already up 100 points. So, okay, so this kid was a higher rated than me. So it's just it's funny, how time flies. But that's a good lesson if you're trying to win in chess, to become a better chess player. Don't accept draws. Don't offer draws. Always try to play for win. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Thank you for tuning in, Jawbreaker and Marcus, all you guys. See you guys next time. I think next show is supposed to be on this Thursday, and bye bye.